This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neeson, the Raw Life Health Show. I'm so thrilled and excited about today's episode. I interviewed a couple who ran for a whole year, every single day, a whole marathon. They ran all over Australia. And they're on a raw vegan diet, and they did it. Why in the world would they do it? And what were the results and the story? Well, I'm going to interview them here today on the show. You're going to see it. But prior to that, here's a trailer of the new movie that's coming out about their amazing journey. And it's just another great example of what the raw vegan diet can do. So check out this trailer and then check out the interview.
Australia is a vast and beautiful country. It is also home to some of the harshest and most challenging climates in the world. This is where two incredible individuals embark on a journey to set and break world records. Janette and Alan are on an epic adventure to run 366 consecutive marathons around this vast continent, all in their 60s, all powered by raw. We follow their journey through the highs and the lows to see the raw courage it took to face the challenges on the road.
Was coming into Sydney, we got involved with a cyclone, and we had about at least 7 days of torrential rain and wind. We had some extreme heat, so 4 days in a row, 44 degrees, and the temperature coming off the road was often near 50 degrees. That's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, apparently.
And the raw courage it took to face the greatest challenge of their lives.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, I had one grandchild, and he was only about a year old. And it was really the realization when I was told that I only had 6 months to live, that meant I only had 6 months of his life to be a part of it. I knew that I didn't want to miss out. I told him I'd always be there for him. So, you don't break a promise to your grandson. He's now 14 years old, and he has a younger brother, and he has little cousins, my other 3 grandchildren, who are 8 and 4 and 1.5. How could I miss out on that?
Watch as this beautiful love story unfolds, the love between Janette and Alan, their love for their family, the love for our planet, and the love for all species. Janette and Alan demonstrate what is possible through a raw lifestyle. And we see how a raw plant-based diet can impact many areas, including our health.
When you go to the original sources of primary nutrition, vitamins, minerals, etc., antioxidants, these are found in whole foods. The greater overall alkaline-forming plant nutrition, therefore the better cell nutrition. An alkaline-forming diet is going to keep cells pretty happy. An acid-forming diet, that can have some problems. Too much acid-forming food could have diminishing returns on bone density, on organ quality, especially kidneys and liver. And the easiest thing to do is to include more plant-based whole foods, and you'll naturally eliminate more processed and animal foods because there just won't be room for them in the diet.
The impact a raw lifestyle can have on our planet and how it can save billions of animals' lives.
One instrument solves our water problems, human health problems, our environmental problems, animal cruelty, and most importantly, our health.
Join us for a revolution. Raw.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. I'm so excited about today's guest. It's been a long time since they've been on the show, and they're back. Janet and Alan from, you guys still all the way in Australia, right?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Right, and you guys look younger than ever, and I know why. Because you guys just recently completed something that's amazing, and thanks to the raw food diet and good health and smart knowledge about how to treat your bodies. Why don't you guys first introduce yourselves and talk a little about your history, how you got into eating a raw food diet, and then tell everybody the amazing thing you just did.
Okay,
first.
I'll go first. I'm Janette, and yes, well, about 14 years ago it is now, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was basically told I had 6 months to live. So I started making some really conscious lifestyle choices to see if that would make a difference, and it did. So basically within that 6 months, it completely turned the prognosis around. And we went 100% raw vegan at that time. And obviously there's more to that story, but that's in my book. But you can, you can get the idea that because of that, that was sort of the thing that made us go into being 100% raw, and doing 100% the best we could in a conscious way with all the choices that we make in life. And we just got healthier and stronger and more physically fit as the time went on. And then just over 6 years ago now, we moved to Australia because our children were here. And we decided when we got here that we would like to really get that message out of, by that time it had been 10 years since I was diagnosed and basically told I had 6 months to live. And there I was, running around and everything was great. And we were much, much healthier and stronger. So we decided to run around Australia. This is really the short form of the story. But we ran around Australia in the year 2013. We ran a marathon every single day. That's 26 miles every day, every morning, in a continuous line all the way around the perimeter of Australia, which and as well as Tasmania, which is also part of Australia. And that's about exactly 15,782 kilometers. So about 10,000 miles.
Wait. So you ran about 26 miles every single day for how many days?
366.
366 days. So it took a little over a year to do that.
Yeah.
A year and a day.
A year and a day. And the reason why we did the extra one was just for the record. So we now hold the record for the most consecutive marathons ever run. We also hold the record, or set the record, for being the oldest and the only couple to have run all the way around Australia, and the only people to have done it on a 100% raw food diet and wearing barefoot shoes.
Now, with all that amazing stuff you did, like how in the world did you plan it where you would know what location you were going to and somebody met you there with a car, or how'd you do that?
Yeah, we had a support crew.
Okay.
So we did plan the whole thing, and we had a support crew in 2 vehicles. So we had a car that was pulling a caravan, plus a smaller car that could keep an eye on us.
Okay, well that's just amazing. But before we continue on that, Alan, tell us your story.
Okay, well, my story is pretty simple. For about the first 40 years of my life, I was your average Aussie, just drinking beer and eating meat pies and smoking, all that sort of stuff, 40 years. And then one day, it was about the time when Janette was diagnosed with cancer, I thought I'd better smarten up a bit. So that's exactly what I did. I started running. I knocked off all the bad habits, and sooner or later, I became a raw vegan athlete. That pretty well sums it up.
And we've been running together ever since.
Wow, that is just truly amazing. Truly amazing. Now, obviously, some people call this extreme. Now, I think it's just amazing that you got better from cancer, eating a raw vegan diet, essentially, and exercising, of course. But doing what you're doing, I mean, it's one thing people question a raw vegan diet if it's enough for somebody who doesn't exercise. But now you're looking at somebody that not only exercises, but 2 people that exercise to the extreme. And what would you say to somebody that says the raw vegan diet is not enough? You're missing meat or they're missing cooked food. What would you say?
Well, it's got to the point now, the reason why we ran around Australia, the reason why we did 366 consecutive marathons on a raw vegan diet was to show by example and to prove without any doubt that everything's achievable. Anything you want to do is achievable if you're on a raw vegan diet. So when we first started out, especially with mainstream media, a lot of people were asking us, well, where do you get your protein? Or you're not, you're going to start having injuries. You can't do this. This is, especially at your age, that type of thing. And we just didn't answer those questions. We just kept running. And pretty soon, by the time we were halfway around, they started to realize that actually this is working and that it is possible. And by the time we'd finished, we don't have those questions anymore. People are coming and asking us, how should I train, or how should I prepare my food, or where should I get my food? How can I grow more fruit and vegetables? Because it's clear from what we've done that there's no question as to whether or not a raw vegan diet is suitable for us or for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I think we've pretty much proved that one.
Absolutely. Now, I want to hear a little about your diet. Is it the same always, or do you have to change it up, obviously, for this run and eat more or eat different? Tell us a little about your diet, how it is and how it was during the runs.
Yeah, well, during the run, we had to eat a lot more. We were going through a lot of calories every day.
Yeah. A lot of what?
A lot of calories.
Calories, okay.
So we ate lots of bananas, apples, oranges, mangoes, that sort of thing. So generally during the day we'd have a big smoothie in the morning, about 5 o'clock, and then as the day went on, we'd have more smoothies and juice and fruit. Often at the end of the day, we'd have a big green salad, maybe with a few avocados and that sort of thing. So we were able to get enough food to keep our weight up.
Mm-hmm. And a few things that happened on the run where we couldn't actually get the type of food that we wanted, which was more in the way of fruit, to get, a lot more energy from fruit. We did have to change and just have what was available, but it was always fruit and vegetables, but it wasn't the same as what we would normally have. So we just had to have more of it, and we did supplement at that point with dates, fresh dates. So I wouldn't say supplement because it's a real food, but we don't normally have a lot of dates, but we needed to get that extra energy. So we'd put one date into our water bottle that we were carrying, and so we had Datorade, and that kept us going in places where we didn't have, the amount of food that we'd like to be able to have, because Australia is a very big country and there's a lot of area out there where there's nothing. Like literally when we came across the southern end of the southern part of Australia, we ran for 27 days and there's no shops. I mean, there's, I think, about 5 different service stations across the way, but there's nowhere to buy food. So we had to take our food, everything that we could, and we were loaded, with our caravan and our trailer and everything. But we had to be very careful as to how much we could eat along the way. So there was a lot of things that we had to change on the run. But in our normal life now, and we continue to run every day, or walk if the case may be, but certainly exercising every day and doing a lot of other things. We do a lot of speaking events and things like that. So we continue to eat 100% raw vegan diet, and we basically start our day with a smoothie or a juice, and then throughout the day we eat as much seasonal fruit as we can get, or as much as we need, depending on how much exercise we're doing. So we eat what's in season where we are. So, and obviously you can always get the staples of bananas and oranges and that sort of thing. So at home we just have a juice once a day, a smoothie once a day, and then fruit the rest of the time whenever we feel like it. And we've always got a full abundance of it. So it's not like we're searching for the food. And during season, like at the moment here, we're coming into summer and we've got a lot of stone fruit. So that's what we're eating. We're eating plums, peaches, apricots, and that's it, as much as we can. So, yeah.
Sure. So how long on average does it take you to run 26 miles, or did it take you? I'm sure it changed from the beginning to the end, or was it consistently on average the same?
Yeah, mostly it was the same.
Yeah, pretty consistent.
Yeah. We'd usually up in the morning about 4 o'clock, we'd leave the caravan at about 5, and by about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, we're usually finished. So about 6 to 7 hours a day, actual running time. Sometimes during that day, we have to stop and do interviews and have extra food and things. So but normally between 5 and 6 hours per day running.
Sure. And how much do you guys run now that you're home on a regular basis?
Anywhere between 10 kilometres and 20 kilometres, just whatever the time we've got. So an hour to 2 hours, depends on, what else we're doing for the day.
Sure. And that's just really amazing what you guys have accomplished. Now, tell us, I just, it's just really amazing. Tell us, are you continuing to do a raw vegan diet? Do you have any ideas to eat cooked food? And why don't you eat cooked food at all?
Well, I suppose we could turn that question around and say, why would we, when we know that this works so well and we're so healthy and physically fit and, more vibrant with 100% raw food. So there's really no reason to change that. Especially we know for sure from our own experience that we're getting younger every day. So that's a really good reason for staying on 100% raw food. So no, we don't divert at all, and we have no intention of it. And we're actually intending to move, believe it or not. This is probably news to you, but we're going to be moving further north into the more tropical zones where we can get more, grow and get more food in the way of fruits and seasonal fruits and varieties. So there's definitely no reason, and we would never change what we're doing.
And how long have you guys been on a raw vegan diet? How many years?
100% raw, 14 years.
That both of you? Yes?
Yes, that's since my diagnosis.
Okay, now, do you guys ever use supplements of any type?
No.
No.
None at all.
Okay. And no health problems at all, right?
No.
Do you guys...
we haven't been to see a doctor. Well, actually, we did. I should say we haven't needed to go to see a doctor or go to a clinic or a hospital since my diagnosis. So, in 14 years, we have been to a doctor to get some tests done just to see how things were looking, and that was after the run, and everything's fine. That
was my next question. What kind of test did you get to see that everything was fine?
Pretty much everything over the board. Like we did blood tests and hair analysis tests and urine tests and saliva tests. We did it all, and everything basically came up as above normal, or where it should be. So not a problem.
Wonderful. Well, tell everybody your ages if you don't mind, because I think this is important here.
Yeah, I'm 66,
and I've just turned 70.
Yeah, wow. And when we ran the run, obviously we're 2 years younger than that, but we're now, or in age, but we're now, I think, about 2 years younger in vitality anyway. So
and how about your sleep? On average now, how many hours a night do you sleep? And during the run, how many hours were you sleeping?
It was very different during the run, but we try to get at least 8 hours, if not 9. And, the hours before midnight, we try to get, so basically around 9 o'clock in the evening, we try to get to bed. During the run, it wasn't that easy because around Australia, we couldn't always get, the main reason was because we couldn't get internet access all of the time. So we couldn't keep up with the updates and posts that we were doing. So at certain times when we could get it, then we basically have to stay up and post everything up. So sometimes we're up till after midnight doing that, but we still got up at 4 o'clock every morning and went out running. So the interesting thing from that was that we were still able to continue with the exercise that we were doing. Sometimes it was just a little slower, like I'd say, well, I only just got to bed 2 hours ago. So, and I noticed last night you went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. So
No comment.
when you're on a raw vegan diet, what we've found is that you can actually utilize the energy from the food that you've eaten before to be able to take you through and not necessarily get completely tired out from not getting the sleep.
Sure. Now, most exercise people would say you need time to recovery after a run, especially a marathon. So you obviously shattered that thought, but why do you think most people that study muscles and the body say that?
Pretty much because most people are not on a raw vegan diet, so they're not actually recovering as they run. So they need recovery time after they've run because they're depleting, their muscles and depleting their energy and everything during their run. Whereas while we're running, we're actually recovering while we're running because of what we're eating and the other, conscious lifestyle choices that we make in life. So we're not compromised in any way, and that way, we're basically recovered. And certainly during our consecutive runs, some days were we would notice it more than others and being a little bit more tired, if you like, and that was to do with the weather or the terrain, but not to do with ourselves, our physical fitness. That remained the same pretty much. And so on those days where we found it a little more tiring, if you like, or like at the finish of the run, we would feel a little bit more tired, then we would make sure that we got more sleep. And in the morning, we were up and running again, and it was, there was no difference. It just felt like we hadn't run a marathon the day before.
And what do you do for something like stretching or warm up? Do you do either one?
No. short answer. During the run, we didn't. Now we do. When we'll go for a run in the morning, we come back, we do probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes of different yoga and stretching and some strength exercises, and that's really just because we're not running a marathon a day. We want to keep up with our exercising as well, so that pretty much we don't have an issue with it.
Well, I know the question on everyone's mind is how in the world do you find time for something like that? So I know you just wrote a book that I want to talk about the book, but tell us a little about what you guys actually do for a living, or are you not doing much? Tell us.
Not doing much. That was classic. Up until we did the run, we obviously were working, and but we decided to take that year off. But what we found when we first decided to do the run, which was about 2 years beforehand, that it would take about that 2 years to organize it and train for it and so on. So I took that time off to do the organizing, and after the run, obviously we'd taken, a year off. We were inundated with media and other people worldwide wanting to hear about it. And so basically last year we spent the whole year traveling to different places worldwide to speak at different seminars and conferences and different venues and different events. As well as we've been making a film based on the run, but on the message that it conveys. So, and also during that time, I've written 2 books. So that's kind of what we're doing at the moment, and just sort of, we're not going to work each day, but actually we are. But we do it here.
Sure. Was there ever a time or a day during the run where one of you were like, why are we doing this? I'm going to stop. And the other one had to say, no, you keep going,
Oh, yeah.
There were a few days like that.
Oh, yeah. We had a few days like that. And we recorded that, how we felt. And we certainly got a lot of got a lot of great response from a lot of our people that were supporting us on the run, because we've ended up with something like 40,000 followers now, because during the run more and more people were getting more interested because it wasn't stopping. So they definitely were giving us a lot of support and saying, no, don't stop. Or some people said, no, you've done enough already. But we were committed to doing the full run, and there was no reason other than, an accident that would stop us. But we also had 4 different charities that we were, raising awareness for as well. So, and just generally that really positive message about making more conscious lifestyle choices that will make a difference. So, it was very important for us, and we had the passion to keep going. So on those days, we just helped each other out and said, come on, we just keep going, or we'd think of something else while we're running, or, and that just got us through. But having that goal and that passion for the cause, that definitely makes a difference.
Sure. Now, before you started the run, you were both already marathon runners, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, I did another interview with you. I want everybody to know. I put a link below below this video to that one. That was one of my favorite videos of all time, about the humble living, the humble house you guys were living in, at least when I met you. Are you still in the same house or no?
No. Well, it's in the same place. We're in it now, so you can see in the background.
Yeah, it looks familiar. It looks great.
Yeah,
okay.
You can see.
So,
we've since built a very small hexagon-shaped house just below this one. That is, it has the central pole and has that really good hexagon energy in it. And we basically live in there. It's very simplistic as well. And this little place is now where we work, so that we're not working in our home. We're working in this little spot.
Well, I remember your compost toilet, which brings another question. When you were on the run, I'm sure people are interested. What did you do when you had to go to the bathroom?
Oh, we just didn't go for a whole year.
I mean, really, eating that much fruit, I'm sure, at some point.
Well, it's a very wide place out there. It's not an issue. There's a lot of people. There's very few people, I should say, and a lot of land. There's not that many bushes, but you do what you have to do.
So basically, you mineralize the soil.
Exactly. And yeah, no.
Very good. Well, I want people to learn more about your books and what you do and who you are. What's the best website people can get in touch with you guys?
Yep, we only have one website now, and it is rawveganpath.com.
Okay,
so like
rawveganpath.com. And now, do you guys have any plans to come to the United States?
Well, we probably will be coming this year with the film, because we can talk about that in a minute. But we're hopefully we've got our film actually being released this year, so that will be coming on the circuit of the film festival. So yeah, we should be coming over.
And that'll be on that information will be on your website as well, right?
Yes, on the website. There's a trailer for the film. We're actually in post-production right now. So we had to go out and actually do more filming, a rerun, if you like, around Australia, because a lot of the times when we were out there on the actual run, it wasn't suitable to be carrying a camera. So with the weather and so on. So we've had to go out and get a little bit more at some of the cinematic shots and things like that. And also it includes a lot of interviews of various other different people as well in the film. So it has our story going through it, but it also is all about the message, that positive message to inspire and motivate and encourage people to think more consciously about the choices they make. So we're taking that to the Cannes Film Festival this year. We went last year. It's hard to say last year and this year, but in 2015, we actually took a short version of the film to the Cannes Film Festival, and it was really well received. So from that, we now are able to submit the feature film, which will be submitted in about a month and a half. We have to get that in, and we're still, obviously fundraising to get that post-production cost, because we've done everything, and the production company that we're working with have done everything for free so far. We're just putting our time and effort in to get this message out. But now we have to hire the professionals, the editors, and people like that. So that's what our fundraising is about, and hopefully we can get that into there. And then once we've been in Cannes, which is in in May in France, then we will take the film to the other film festivals. So hopefully be coming over to the States as well.
Sure. Now, you mentioned about the weather and the camera. I mean, what's the worst weather you encountered? And did you take a day off for the weather at all?
No days off.
No days off. We had all sorts of weather. We had heat, over 40 degrees Celsius. I think that's about 110 in your language.
Yeah.
And we had that heat for 4 or 5 days in a row. We also had some extremely rainy, wet weather. We went through a bit of a cyclone, just north of Sydney. So we had about 10 days up there with just torrential rain.
Mm-hmm.
We were just running in wet feet and wet clothes the whole time. And then, so that was the two extremes. We also had some bushfires, and we ran right through the edge of one huge forest fire. And we were lucky to get through, but we did. And the other main challenges were just the long, straight roads.
Now, running in shoes for 26 miles during the rain while everything's wet, wouldn't it create blisters or calluses or anything?
We never had any blisters.
No, we never got a blister. It's
no,
amazing.
That was what was great about those barefoot Vibram shoes. It was just like being barefoot, and they got wet, and we never had any issues with that at all.
Wow.
The only thing, the other thing with the weather was we did have, I think it was really the worst day, was when we had extreme cold. So we were going down the west coast, and they just had, it was a huge storm that came in, and it was extremely cold, and we were out on the road. We had basically sleet and torrential rain and 60-kilometre-hour winds, and it was the worst conditions you could ever have to be running in. And to top that off, our crew couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the vehicles for us. So we were getting really, overexposed, and we were getting hypothermic pretty much. By the time we actually did get to the crew and got in there, we couldn't speak. We couldn't move our fingers to take our clothes off, which were of course soaking wet, and it was just horrendous. Our phone that we used to communicate with our crew, it was completely gone. It wasn't working anymore because it was so wet. And anyway, within about half an hour, we pretty much recovered, because they obviously knew that we were in trouble, and they had juice ready and smoothies ready and lots of fruit, and we just basically ate and drank a lot of good nourishing food, and got into some dry clothes and went back out and finished the run. So that was our worst day, I think. Yeah, it was worse than the heat, honestly.
Sure. Did you finish in the same exact spot you started?
Yes, every day. So we would do the 26 miles or more. So we never did less. Sometimes we did more because of not being able to pull off the road there to, set up camp for the night. But then, we would, sometimes we would actually have to get picked up by the crew, and but in the morning they would take us back to that place that we'd marked on the road. So it was a continuous run.
Well, what I meant was the first start of the race or the event where you started from, when you finished the event, it was in the same exact spot from where you started though?
Yeah.
Yes, we started right in the heart of Melbourne, in the city, and we finished there on the 365th day, so the last day of the year. And then the following day, that extra one marathon that we ran was from there out to our home, where we live. That's 48 kilometres along the river trail. So our last marathon was 48 kilometres, and we had about probably 50 people with us. We kind of felt like Forrest Gump. And then the whole town and a lot of other people were here to welcome us. It was a wonderful welcome. That was our best marathon from our point of view. It just seemed like it was no distance at all, and it was, obviously it was our last one, so we felt pretty good about it.
Any plans to run around the United States?
It's a similar distance, actually.
Yeah, it's about the same distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we've done that, no. We've actually had a lot of people after the run saying to us, well, that's okay for you because you can run marathons or whatever reason they think of, but they also say, I can't run because of this, that, and the other thing. So we thought, well, what can we do, after, say a couple of years afterwards, which is this year, to show that you don't have to run a marathon a day to be physically fit. You just have to eat the right food and make the right choices in life and, do some sort of exercise. So we decided to walk, which most people, unless, they have difficulty with their legs, can walk somewhere. So this year, after we'd been to Cannes Film Festival, we went and walked 2,200 kilometers from Paris in France, down through France and into Spain and across Spain to Santiago de Compostela, which is the Pilgrim Way. So following that ancient pilgrim route with backpacks on, everything we needed, and we walked the whole way in 80 days.
And we just did that on fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, mostly fruit.
Mainly fruit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we're going to do it again this year, only a different route, because there's obviously many routes, some coming, all the way from Jerusalem, obviously. So we're going to be following that. And that's more an inner journey. It's more a spiritual journey, if you like. And there's so many people now, wanting to follow in that direction as well. So it's an all-encompassing part of your life. And we wanted to do that as well. So that's what we've done this year, and that'll be included a little bit just to show at the end of the film,
Wow.
That you don't have to run a marathon a day.
Sure. Now
That's an example.
You said when you did your run, you went through Tasmania. Isn't Tasmania an island?
Yes, so is Australia.
How did you get there? Did you swim to Tasmania from Australia?
No, what we did, we ran to the ferry, and which goes at night.
So we've done our marathon.
So we've done our marathon that day, yeah. And then we went across on the ferry.
Slept like a lot.
Slept like we don't know what the trip was like. And as it docked, which was about 6 a.m, we ran off the ferry and did our next marathon. So we started. Right, yeah,
That's great. That's wonderful, wonderful. Well, guys, you are. Say it again.
The same on the way back.
Wow.
We ran off. So our last marathon was coming off the ferry and into the city in Melbourne.
Well, you guys are an inspiration and a great spokespeople for the raw food diet. Give everybody your website again so they can go there and find out more and get your books and videos and see more about you.
Yeah, it's rawveganpath.com. And you'll also find a link on there to our Facebook pages. You can obviously is it? Yeah. You can also ask or request to go on my timeline, which then you can get into all our. We've got 3 different pages now, so go on there. There's also a lot about the movie and the links through for that as well, and the books. I've written 2 books. The first one is called Raw Can Cure Cancer, and that's based on my journey with cancer and into the raw vegan lifestyle. And then the book that I wrote after the run is called Running Out of Time, and that's based on the run, but obviously about the message that it conveys. And the documentary that's coming out is called Raw, the documentary.
Very good, very good. That's really exciting. I want everybody to check out their website. I know you guys are busy. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and I look forward to seeing you when you're in the United States, hopefully. But, keep up the great work, and that's so exciting.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.